Yep. Unbelievable. Hmm. There's Danielle. Yes. Folks, we are live. Okay, 102. We're live in just 4 minutes. Folks, this afternoon, going to be live in North Attleboro. I posted that. There's a Trump store there. And it's going to be 4:30 to 5. They have great gifts. If you're in the northern part of the state, pop by. Would love to see you. That is this afternoon. A rare appearance. Yes. This afternoon. All right. We are going to be live in just 3 minutes. It is remarkable what is going on right now. And Governor McGreed speaking out. By the way, good for President Trump, saying that he's going to start to go after some of these other individuals. He's not wrong. That lady with the pole, what was that all about? He is in rare form right now. State data breach. Once again, I don't blame him. Would you do a preemptive strike against Iran? I don't know how he has the patience. President Trump said, is that a real question? Why would I do that? Why would I answer that? Fleets of unidentified drones have been seen over New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. Residents are asking if they can shoot them. I don't understand why they're there either. I really don't. Love that, Ricky Gervais. Oh boy. All right, folks, we're live in 1 minute, waiting for our cue. It is odd. And we are standing by. 1 minute. At 106 on this Monday, December 16th. Folks, good afternoon. This is the real news. This is the real news. That is exactly right. Right now, 106, we are live on AM 1380, 99.9 FM. Now, you can always listen online at the website, which happens to be depetro.com. Now, we're also live. Our live stream on Facebook. It's also on YouTube and also on X. This portion of the program is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Folks, everything they have is Christmas. And this is where I believe people now really get into the decorating season. Fraser fir trees, potted live trees, custom handmade wreaths, 10 and 60 inches in size. They have Christmas swag, mistletoe, hanging baskets, roping, cut greens, decorative pots, cemetery baskets, Christmas crafts, gift certificates are available. And remember, it's florist quality poinsettias, custom made sleighs from local artists. Firewood is available for pickup and delivery. They're open 7 days a week. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Look for them on Facebook. Now, we are obviously waiting to see exactly what's going to happen with this situation, with how we had the FBI in Coventry. And we have video up on that. Don't forget, folks, check out the website, depetro.com. Video, stories. We've broken, what a year this has been as far as breaking stories on depetro.com. And it's all brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue in West Warwick. Remember, lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. And the market at Coesit Inn has great gift baskets, perfect for gifts. If you're going to be maybe going to a party, stopping in to see someone, grab a great gift basket right there at the market at Coesit Inn. And again, stop in and see them, 226 Coesit Avenue in West Warwick. Well, folks, I want to start off, this whole situation. I will touch on the drones. I think it's kind of connected. The fact of the matter is no one seems to have an answer on this. Like everyone else, I don't know what's going on. It is odd. It's bizarre. I feel for the people in New Jersey have been complaining about this for quite some time. No one is saying anything. It's very odd. I don't know why they're only up at night. I'm not going to say much. Apparently, you can also see them. I saw someone posted that they went on one of the Newport Mansion tours last night. As they're looking out, you can see them off the coast. So even President Trump spoke a short time ago doing a press briefing, and he doesn't know exactly what's up with them. But I don't know what to make of it other than people have every right to be questioning what is going on with these drones and why are they up there? And for the government to just say people shouldn't be concerned and there's no there's no danger to the public. That without question, I mean, that doesn't make anybody feel better. By the way, I also, before I forget, want to mention now this afternoon, speaking of President Trump, I will be at the Trump store in North Attleboro. Yep, this afternoon, New England for Trump, from 4:30 to 5, 847 East Washington Street in North Attleboro. They have great gifts. It's New England for Trump store this afternoon, 4:30. If you're in the northern part of the state or if you're in Attleboro or Massachusetts, I'd love to see you. Pop by this afternoon. A rare appearance by the chosen one. And I recognize, I saw Kathy Mello, who's on Thin Ice, put like a wise guy comment. I don't know what that's all about. Folks, listen, things are expanding too quickly, too fast. We just keep getting bigger and bigger audiences. My patience for people is at an all-time low. So we've just hit, right now, the Facebook page is growing 1,000 new people a week. Are we really going to put up with like foolishness or comments like that? So we'll wait and see how that plays out. But I do want to touch on, the answer is no, I'm not going to. Why? These people are like delusional. So her and her daffy little friends can get lost. But I do want to touch on the latest, the big story is this data breach. And folks, this is another example of the complete incompetence from the McKee administration. I don't care that they have a third party that's supposed to be handling it. It doesn't matter to me. This is another crisis that he's dealing with, and I'll tell you what irks me about Governor McKee is once again something that the general public, the government is supposed to be handling, and instead he punts this incompetent governor who, again, he's in office for 2 more years. 2 more years. What did Governor McKee say about the bridge? Well, just a reminder, plan, leave yourself extra time. And why do people have to leave themselves extra time going from point A to point B? Well, because now it's restricted lanes and there's going to be backup. This is another government failure and a local government failure that that suddenly you have to change, everybody has to change their plans because of another government failure. Now, Governor McKee, I'll play some of this, put out a video right now. The most important thing for potentially impacting Rhode Islanders: protect your personal information, freezing your credit, setting up multiple levels of scrutiny, staying alert. Together, we're going to navigate. Why do people have to do that? Why do people have to do that? This guy is so pathetic. Governor McKee, again.
In light of the recent data breach, I'm asking everyone who may have been impacted to take a few easy steps right now to help protect your personal information.
Why should they have to do that? The answer is they should. What's next? When it snows, we're going to ask everybody, get out your shovels, shovel your own street. Apparently, his team has known about this since December 5th. And we still don't have a clear idea of exactly what's happening. Folks, if you're the governor, if you're the government, if you're the ones calling the shots, if you're the one doing that, if you want to be in charge, then be in charge. Then take command. But suddenly, once again, this is along the lines of, we're going to ask everybody to leave 20 minutes earlier, prepared to be stuck in traffic. It's another, just funnels down. It's now on you. You have to make up for the incompetence of the bridge. Not one person has been fired or terminated with the bridge. Not one. How many people, how much money did these people make and continue to make? Millions has been spent. No accountability at all. And now you have to change this. You have to do that. You have to call your bank, because sheer incompetence from this guy. Really pathetic.
From identity theft. I know the situation may be concerning to you, so I wanted to take a minute to speak with you directly about what you can do today to protect yourself.
Why should they have to? Another press conference this afternoon at 3:00. He loves getting out there. He's got his full team of people and blah, blah, blah. Why? This is another government failure. Another government failure of the McKee administration. From Deloitte, the whole UHIP thing. Don't you understand? This is totally unnecessary. Why should people have to be doing these things? You know why? Because people trusted this guy. Does Governor McKee understand that he doesn't have any credibility left? Does Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee understand that already, by virtue of what we saw with the bridge, no one's held accountable, no one loses their job, and now the inconvenience is thrown onto the public?
Recently, the system that manages many of the state's social services programs was the target of a cyber.
You know what else is annoying to me is they did a 2-camera shot on this for whatever reason. So one minute he's looking at the camera, then are they under the guise of they want to make this better for everyone to watch? Like, they're so pathetic. See, is it any wonder who he is pals with? Talk about this now. Again, people have to disrupt their lives because the McKee administration has let everybody down.
If you have applied for benefits for any of the programs listed at cyberalert.ri.gov, your personal information may be at risk. Here are 5 important steps I recommend you take today to protect your personal information.
You know why? Because
the first thing you should do is to reach out to all 3 credit reporting agencies to freeze your credit. Freezing your credit is...
Oh, yeah. As if people have time, energy, or desire to have to do this. A total inconvenience because of the failure of the McKee administration. There's no other way to frame it. And he waited till 7:30 on Friday night to have the first press briefing, and then another one on Saturday. So now, instead of everyone focusing on the disaster and the chaos involving the bridge, now people are focusing on this. Another catastrophe, another crisis. I don't think Governor McKee fully understands that no one has confidence in him. No one believes him. Well, here's the thing. Why would anyone believe him? They said the bridge would be closed for 3 months. Not only has it been longer than that, but on top of that, there's no end in sight. They don't know who's going to build it. They don't know when it's going to be built. They don't know when it's going to be completed. And yet he continues to go around and just keep saying it's just a 10 or 15-minute delay. And that Mayor of East Providence, Mayor De Silva, I want to welcome a new business is opening in East Providence. Why doesn't he highlight the number of businesses that have closed? Folks, I don't know how else to say it. These people are embarrassing through their incompetence. And I want to be very clear. This is not even on political beliefs. This, to me, the sheer incompetence of the McKee administration, it's not on their political beliefs. I don't really care if tomorrow Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee switched and became a Republican and suddenly became a Trump supporter. I don't even care then. It's still his sheer incompetence. Folks, this portion of our program, the opposite of incompetence is Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus, heating and cooling. You can depend on Propane Plus. Now, they also have a very user-friendly website. It's propaneplus.com. Residential or commercial, you just type in your zip code. Always there for you. Propane Plus. Call today, 401-885-4209, or in Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. Well, folks, good afternoon at 1:19. Listen, I wish I could be more positive. And they can argue. Let's also remember, I believe the lobbyist for Deloitte is Governor McKee's criminal defense attorney, former Speaker Bill Murphy, who he was the one advising Governor McKee not to cooperate with the ILO investigation, not to sit down and answer questions. That's who he gets his advice from. And then after he disclosed it, as a result of that, McKee then had to, pay Murphy. So, but that's who he's getting his advice from. But this is, everything he's listing right now is a result of total lack of oversight. It's very familiar. People, here's a reasonable question that they've still never answered. How is it that the Washington Bridge was approved and passed inspection, was inspected in July, and then closed less than 6 months later? That's never been answered. How is it that UHIP, that takes all this money and has this contract, who is it that was overseeing them? People's personal data. And now he has the gall to cut this video. Now it's incumbent on you to do something. He punts it. Now if something happens, it's because you didn't do the right thing.
Free. And doing this means no one else can take out a loan or establish credit in your name. You won't lose access to your money or credit cards, and you can lift the freeze at any time. Second, contact one of the 3 credit reporting agencies to order a free credit report. Third, ask one of the credit reporting agencies to place a fraud alert on your files. This is free, and it lets creditors know to contact you before any new accounts can be opened in your name. Asking one agency to do this will cover the step.
I have no idea why they keep. I have no idea why they keep cutting and canning back and forth like this. I have no idea whose idea was this. What we're going to do is we're going to cut back and forth. Why was that necessary in this?
On your files. This is free, and it lets creditors know to contact you before any new account.
You know, again, it's not that complicated what they're supposed to do. They have no problem taking tax revenue. The damage that's being inflicted and done on this individual by this individual and his team. Folks, why should people have to live this way? Everything he's laying out is a result of failure by local government. And they still don't have a handle on it. You know, but there's also, he knew about it December 5th. Last Tuesday, they had the big press conference about the bridge. And there's 2 companies that are finalists and blah, blah, blah. At that time, he knew there was something up with a data breach, and he never said a word. Folks, this portion of our program, I want to remind you about Kids Club on the Pike. Fantastic. Any youth gathering, parties for children, whether it's birthday parties, preschool program, before and after school program, Kids Club on the Pike. Now, they're easy to get to. Located right on the Cranston-Johnson line, Plainfield Pike. You can call them at 401-443-5336. If you want to have a gathering, maybe it's a team celebration or a youth birthday party, Kids Club on the Pike. It's right off of 295 on that Cranston-Johnston line on Plainfield Pike. It's Kids Club on the Pike. Well, folks, good afternoon. I mean, this is another example to me of government letting people down. And what's so egregious about McKee is seemingly this time he's got the quick out that it's really, you know, who they use. And his example is to throw the onus on you. So it's almost like he feels he has an out on this whole thing.
In your name. Asking one agency to do this will cover the step for all 3 agencies. Fourth, use multi-factor authentication. This means that
I just, there's a limit to how much I can listen with this guy. There really is. And the fact of the matter is, I'm willing to bet that he, his team, and other insiders have known about this, and they've been able to do these things ahead of the general public. So the fact that then I just don't know where we're gonna go with this. Where are we gonna go over the next 2 years, folks? And here's something that can't be ignored. The fact of the matter is, you have to understand that Governor McKee, right now, they have allies in the White House. They have allies in Congress. All of that is going away. The Republicans will rule the Senate. The Republicans will rule the White House. Raimondo, out of office. Sheldon Whitehouse, Senator Reid, minority in the Senate. Seth Magaziner, Gabe Amo have no power in the House. And you have a presidential administration coming in. Why would they be friendly to the McKee administration? I want to just quickly play this clip of, and I'm so glad President Trump responding this way to the reporter.
Why would I say that?
Because you're going to...
Iran's nuclear facilities. I mean, it's a wonderful question, but am I going to do preemptive strikes? Why would I say that? Can you imagine if I said yes or no? You'd say, that was strange that he answered that way. Am I going to do preemptive strikes on Iran? Is that a serious question? How could I answer a question like that?
Say it. In support of Israeli strikes.
You do. This is the problem with the news media right now. It's going to come to an end. People are tired of it. People are tired of it. Much like I'm glad President Trump is thinking of going after that woman that put out that Iowa poll. It's time for some accountability in media. So, would you do a preemptive strike on Iran? Why would you answer that? Yes or no? If you say no, we wouldn't do it. Well, then Iran says, all right, well, they're not going to do that. Would you do a preemptive strike on Iran? Yes. Why would you even answer that question? But why would that question even be asked? I'm so glad he's going to go after that pollster. That totally you have no right. The Des Moines paper that put that out. Why? Whose idea was it to put that out? We're going to put out a poll the Sunday before the election that shows that Harris is up 10 points. I got, when does the irresponsibility end? In Seltzer comes out swinging against people, accusing her of election interference. Her poll was wrong by 19 points. This lady, she is absolutely disgraced.
Election interference about what the motivation anybody thinks I had and would act on in such a public poll. I don't understand it. And the allegations I take very seriously. They're saying that this was election interference,
it was,
which is a crime. So the idea that I intentionally set up to deliver this response when I've never done that before, I've had plenty of opportunities to do it. It's not my ethic, but to suggest without a single shred of evidence that I was in cahoots with somebody,
You put out a poll the Sunday before the election saying that Harris, her poll was wrong by 19 points. And then what? You're upset that people are basically accusing you manipulating the Iowa poll to benefit the Harris campaign. There's no other rational explanation for it. Folks, the whole element, it's got to come to an end. It has to come to an end. The way these people operate and behave with essentially no accountability. Well, this portion, now I do want to get back to, I'm going to touch on the drones in just a moment. But folks, this portion of our program, and it's brought to you by AJ Home Improvement. If you're thinking of improving your home or business, contact AJ Home Improvement today at 401-323-9252. Frame to finish basements, acoustical ceilings, new homes, additions, commercial rehabs, painting, remodeling. They do it all. It's AJ Home Improvement, 401-323-9252. Maybe you're listing right now and you need your workspace, your business improved, residential or commercial. Call AJ Home Improvement today, 401-323-9252. And it's incredible what they can do with acoustical ceilings. Or if you have an unfinished garage, unfinished basement, they could build you a new home or just improve your existing home. New homes, additions, commercial rehabs, painting, they do it all. And again, unfinished basement, unfinished garage, housing, price of housing costs right now is astronomical. Why not improve the home you're in? AJ Home Improvement, 401-323-9252. Well, folks, good afternoon. This is the real news. Yes, we're going to be doing Road Patrol Live later, but I think we are at a breaking point, both nationally. By the way, there is good news, local media, with Pork Boy, the show that no one watches, but his little weekly show, Pork Boy State of Mind, has finally been canceled. So now that's not good for the McKee administration. Because they use, folks, you got to realize, Governor McKee, he uses the station down the dial, WMKRO. That is his component for getting information out. They're compromised. He uses that station to unleash his propaganda. And any element of weakening the power of Pork Boy hurts McKee and is actually better for the people. So remember, that's where he feels most at home. We have a problem. And by the way, it's so a perfect example of Rhode Island corruption is the fact that a McKee campaign worker is given 3 hours a day, weekdays, to go on and basically act as a surrogate spokesperson for the McKee administration. I mean, where else would that go on? Where else would that happen? Actually worked on the campaign. This portion of the program, folks, is brought to you by JD's Lawn Care and Tree Service. Call them today, 401 441 0154. 401 441 0154. Get those branches trimmed with JD Lawn Care and Tree Service. Now, I want to touch on the drones because, like everyone else, I don't know of anyone that absolutely knows what's going on, but it's where are we? You even have President-elect Trump saying that, how is this happening that you have these drones in the sky, and even President Trump is unsure about it. So what does that tell you? President Trump also said there's going to be hell to pay in the Middle East if the hostages aren't released by January 20th. Folks, it can't come soon enough. The Biden-McKee administration is completely incompetent. And he plans to sue Ann Seltzer and the newspaper in Iowa that published her poll the Sunday before showing that he was going to lose the election.
Very, very good. I see others. I have a few others that I'm doing. I'm going to, as an example, I'm doing this not because I want to. I'm doing this because I feel I have an obligation to. I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper, which had a very, very good pollster who got me right all the time. And then just before the election, she said I was going to lose by 3 or 4 points. And it became the biggest story all over the world because I was going to win Iowa by 20 points. The farmers loved me and I loved the farmers. And it was interesting the way she did it. She brought it down 2 weeks before. She said I was going to only win by 4. That was a big story. But that was good because she brought it down from like 22 points to 4 or whatever the number was. Way up. Easy win. Never even thought to go there. I respect them. I love them. And they understand there's no reason to go there because.
Why should that lady walk away scot-free? What is this? Then stand behind your poll. Then stand behind. If you're that confident about the poll, then stand behind it. This nonsense has to. Let me just see this. Let's see. New version. Okay. Law enforcement. Oh, okay. No, that's not what I'm looking for. The incompetence. Trump says Biden administration knows what's happening on the drones. Well, what about the situation with the Chinese spy balloon? The Biden administration, they weren't doing anything. They weren't doing anything about it until people started paying attention to it and called it out. And then people then what did they do? Then they shot it down. Are they even paying attention to this? All right, now we do have breaking news. At least 5 dead, including the suspect, 5 injured in a Wisconsin school shooting. Wow. I don't know enough about it. Some people, 3 are dead, 7 wounded. So there's different numbers, but there's definitely a shooting. Folks, I believe that confidence in government needs to be restored. We need competent people. What is frightening is just locally Now, right now, 2 accused Boston drone incident charged with trespassing. They clearly need to increase the penalties. I don't understand what, obviously, right now, there is a void of what people are doing with these drones and not facing any consequences. And so we're all left to guess. This has been going on for weeks in New Jersey. Now there's other places. And as I mentioned, some of them that I follow on the platform X, formerly Twitter, where a group of mom friends and I took our daughters to the Newport Mansions last night, see the Christmas lights. We got more than we bargained for. This is the new view from the balcony of the Breakers. Shocking. Every patron on the balcony with us was disgusted. One asked, what skyline is that over there? Now that is, that's the new, the windmills that are out there. By the way, folks, which is all going to be irrelevant. This whole business, we're going to, and President Trump has it right that energy is a big key to the economy. Energy is a big key to the economy. And Governor McKee doubling down on wind energy, and that wind energy is so important, and the green economy. And by the way, what they also don't mention is they all have to be union jobs. That's the only way that you can operate any of these are union jobs. So far, all of those windmills, whether it's Block Island or anywhere else, they haven't produced anything. I mean, obviously, I communicate with people on Block Island. They haven't seen any savings of that. I think it's all a scam. And I think they're all going to be completely irrelevant once President Trump gets in and allows the country once again to be reliant on the oil that we have in our country. So I don't understand any of that. Folks, there's still time to get your driveway paved or your parking lot paved. J. Perry Paving. Call them today, 401-732-1730. High quality, fair pricing. If you're listing or watching on this Monday, J. Perry Paving. High quality, fair pricing, exceptional service. Call them today, get a free quote, 401-732-1730. Now that is a great Christmas gift, getting your driveway paved. J. Perry Paving. Call them today, 401-732-1730. Free estimate any project with J. Perry Paving. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, this is the real news. I think the situation with the drones, conspiracy theories abound. Are the drones hunting radiation? Homeland wants states to shoot down. How is this even happening? How are we not told what's happening? How do people not know? Detection system sent to New York. Why should the people have to live this way? And what are they? And I like that and I played it earlier, and that is that one of the mayors in New Jersey and talked about why are these drones disappearing as soon as daylight hits? Why is it only at night? And you look at the size of them. But is this, I think it also illustrates right now, people do not have confidence in the Biden administration. And I think that's one of the things that's lacking right now in both local government and also, obviously, in local government, between the bridge and now the data breach. I just, how much are people supposed to put up with? We deserve so much better than what's happening with all of this. And the fact that, I mean, Biden can't leave the White House soon enough, as a matter of fact. He just can't. Between that and the McKee administration, just where is this going to go? I also want to mention about the pallet shelters. The pallet shelters It is frightening the level of incompetence that those pallet shelters, the Foxy Village, are still not open. And what's even more pathetic is the state fire marshal, Tim McLaughlin. It's complicated. It's a new project. We need a proper code path. And then he actually invoked the station nightclub fire. McLaughlin got heated defending the right fire code for the pallet shelters and referenced the station nightclub fire. That is, excuse me, you're not dealing with a rational person that mentions that. As Cicilline said, since the building permits were issued in June, what has stopped the shelters from opening? Still, no answer to that. The state fire marshal, that guy, he hates Trump, extreme Democrat. The things that he puts out, the language, this Tim McLaughlin, who's the state fire marshal, I can't even repeat the things that he has put on social media aimed at Megyn Kelly, aimed at Nikki Haley. Does it, is anyone realize the incompetence that you're dealing with? That if the state fire marshal, Tim McLaughlin, if he can't come up with the proper code for these pallet shelters, then get someone who will. For him to compare it to the station nightclub fire, they're all outside, they're all single units. He's comparing that to a nightclub where a band was allowed to come in, given the okay to use pyro with a very low ceiling in an overcrowded nightclub that was zoned for, 200 people and had closer to 500 people inside. And he's comparing the pallet shelters. He's comparing that to the station nightclub fire. Folks, do you see that there's just, it is, the incompetence knows no bounds. As soon as they hit something out of the ordinary, as we discussed with Justin Katz, as soon as there's something that's not run of the mill, they don't know what to do. They're barely competent. Talking about the McKee administration now. They're barely competent under the best of circumstances. But if anything ever goes south or they're thrown a curveball, then they have absolutely no answers. So for Cicilline to say, when the codes were issued in June, how is it still not operating? Well, we don't have a code. We have to come up with a code. Why is that even tolerated? Is it tolerated because this guy's such an extreme progressive, where he's on social media slamming Megyn Kelly and slamming Nikki Haley? This is the guy. This is the guy who's the state fire marshal, who says, it's complicated. And this could be another station nightclub fire where 100 were killed and 200 maimed. How would you compare that to a station? Like, what exactly are you talking about? If you take the pyro out of the station nightclub fire, then if you take the pyro and the foam out of the station nightclub fire, then there is no station nightclub fire. It's not as if it wasn't from a cigarette. It wasn't as if somebody smoked and dropped a cigarette. It's because of the foam. The foam that was put up was flammable, and then the adhesive they used turned it into a cyanide gas when it was burning. So it was, there was so many different things wrong, my point is, about the station nightclub fire. If they had not taken flammable foam and then used the type of adhesive they had used and put it up there, you wouldn't have had the station nightclub fire. If Great White, the band, if they were not given permission to use the pyro that shot up and caught the foam on fire, then you wouldn't have had that either. It wasn't as if, I mean, I worked in a nightclub where people smoked. It wasn't as if somebody had dropped a cigarette. It wasn't as if somebody dropped a cigarette and then the wall caught on fire. It had to do with the foam, the adhesive glue used to keep it up there as soundproofing, which was flammable, and then the gas that it gave off that was deadly. And that's why if you didn't make it out within 55 seconds, you didn't make it out. That's why you had 100 dead and 200 injured. My point is, it was just such a fluke, distinctive, unusual situation. If you didn't have the foam and they had the pyro, if it had been non-flammable foam, but if the pyro could get through the foam and then get the adhesive, if you didn't have flammable adhesive, it really, to me, begins and ends with the pyro. The amount of people there, it didn't help, but it comes down to, if the band was told you're not using any pyro, then you don't have the station nightclub fire. If you don't have the flammable foam with the adhesive, then you don't have the station nightclub fire. So this whole business for the state fire marshal, are they going to have flammable foam inside these pallets? I mean, it's not even remotely a possibility. What this is it's another example. Any real governor would have called them in and said, I'll tell you what, from what I understand, you claim this is a new type of structure, this Foxy Village with these homeless pallets. It's a new type of structure. You don't exactly have a code for it. I'll tell you what, today's Wednesday. By the end of the day on Friday, you're going to give me what you've come up with. If you don't, if you don't, then we're going to have someone else do it. This isn't a heavy lift. There are other cities and towns around the country that have these pallet shelters. Whoever they got them from, then they should, circle back to them and say, I'm just curious, do you know what type of codes these people implemented? But I'll tell you what, so you have basically 2.5 days to get this done, or you're out. Like, you can't allow the incompetence to just permeate and take over. But that's what they allow. So what you see with the McKee administration, folks, is it's just a pattern of incompetence. It's not a little incompetence. It starts to permeate. Excuse me, everybody. I apologize. A little bit of a dry throat. It starts to permeate into everything. It's kind of like the Patriot offense right now. It's not just breaking down in one area. When you have the wrong person as the coach, everything starts to give way. And that's what you're seeing right now in Rhode Island. Now, Governor McKee, actually, he has had people leave, and then he has gotten rid of people. It's not like there's no turnover, but there's just certain departments where people are untouchable. And obviously, the state fire marshal is one of those people, probably from the power of the unions. That guy, for whatever reason, seems untouchable. This portion of our program, folks, is brought to you by Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. Call them today, 401-433-7272. Your dream kitchen is waiting for you. Dennis and Christina with Dreammaker. Now, they have a beautiful design center, Greenwich Avenue in Warwick. They're right near Crown Plaza, right next to Kachai. It's Dreammaker. Call them today, 401-433-7272. Remember, with Dream Maker, it's respect, integrity, and customer focus. Transition from dreams to reality. What a difference it'll make for your home. Contact Dream Maker today. If you're right now on this Monday, if you're considering a new kitchen or bathroom, contact Dream Maker 401 433 7272. Again, Greenwich Avenue in Warwick, right near Crown Plaza. It's Dream Maker. Well, folks, good afternoon. I think I feel for the people that are dealing with this security breach that the McKee administration is going through. And as far as, this now goes back on Deloitte, and people certainly would know Deloitte, I would believe, because they were involved with the whole UHEP fiasco with Gina Raimondo. And former Speaker Bill Murphy is their lobbyist. But Governor McKee, now it's as if she just, Governor McKee just jumps in and almost acts as though that the McKee administration is going to guide everybody through they act, the mistakes they make, they they respond as though it's an act of God. Like the closing of the Washington Bridge, the McKee administration, the governor, they act as though nothing could be done to stop it. And now they're jumping in and they're, righting the wrong. Many times after, let's just say like after a blizzard or after a hurricane, and whoever the governor is in a different state, they have on either the rain slicker or they have on the winter coat, and we're going to jump in and blah, blah, blah. And they're given all the instructions, and it's crisis management that they're jumping in on. But what's different to me about the McKee administration is their reaction on the data breach and also on the bridge. They come across as though they have no control over these different type of factors. They treat them the way you would react if there was a hurricane or a blizzard. And they don't even see that their created crisis through incompetence and poor management. There's still, to this, right now it's 1:54 on this Monday. There's no reason for the bridge to still be in this manner. There's no reason for the people in East Bay to have to go through the inconvenience on the bridge if things had been done properly. I don't have an answer as to why no one has been terminated regarding the entire chaos and fiasco regarding the Washington Bridge. At the same token, why aren't there better provisions in place that would ward off any type of cyber attack? Where instead, all these people are going to have all their personal information put out, and it shouldn't happen. To me, this is just another example where you don't have the proper people in place. I think, all right, and I also just want to mention, so this school shooting in Wisconsin leaves 4 dead, 5 injured at a Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin. The juvenile suspect is also dead. I don't have an answer on OIC. Every child or a person in that building. All right, so that's horrible with what's going on in Wisconsin. But now watch. Now they'll start talking. Wisconsin, by the way, Wisconsin has much different gun laws than we do in our area. 100%. Much different gun laws than Rhode Island has. So anyone at the Rhode Island State House that wants to start talking about that, Rhode Island does not, it's not even remotely close to the type of gun laws that are far more lax in a state like Wisconsin than Rhode Island does. Rhode Island and Mass, for that matter, not even remotely close. But folks, it just at what point, Governor McKee, the fact he's even considering running for another 4 years is, I don't see how does it even happen. Do these people, like, at this point with the bridge, not only does it play with people's livelihoods, businesses have gone out, people's entire routine, people had to leave jobs, people's general quality of life has been totally turned upside down, and yet no one is held accountable. And now with this data breach, the question is just, how much longer do people want to live surrounded by complete incompetence? He should be drummed out of office. The fact that he thinks he's up to manage this crisis. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, and again, who did he pick? Sabina Matos as his lieutenant governor. I fail to see how they're up to handle this challenge. They're not up to handle this challenge. So no, of course not. But now you're playing with people's identity, and you've put their bank accounts exposed. You've put them vulnerable for identity theft because they trusted you. They trusted you in the service that you put up. Like Governor McKee, he's just so casual about it. Whether it's, okay, so maybe it's a 10 or 15-minute delay. He always underplays just how serious it is. I don't understand how he even thinks of himself as a coach, or I don't even understand how he was a coach. There's no way he was a successful coach. He underplays and is completely unprepared. These are serious obligations, but he doesn't take it serious, and that's why, the same token, he continues to run a sanctuary state. And Governor McKee won't act until there's a real tragedy. And then, as I have stated, when a person of means or a well-known individual has themselves or their families are the victims of a serious crime involving illegals, only then will Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, only then will he understand the seriousness that he puts people in. But right now, he just shrugs it off as though it's not even faintly in his mind. Well, folks, we're definitely going to do Road Patrol Live later. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Now, if you're listening to the radio coming up, you're going to hear the 2 o'clock news. And again, we'll be live streaming later. Check the page, and then Road Patrol Live later. Listen, enjoy this Monday on the radio. Stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news.